Alrighty. Hello. Hey, Davide.
Ciao, Rebecca.
How are you doing? Hi, everyone joining us. Hello.
Everyone. Yeah,
Good morning, good afternoon. Hope it's a wonderful day wherever you're tuning in from. We have a lot to cover today, so we're gonna get right into kind of the programming. So, quickly introduce myself if you haven't seen me before. My name is Rebecca. Work as a communications manager here at StreamYard. Work very closely with Davide. I'll be moderating this conversation today, and Davide will be the main star.
hello everyone. I'm Davide, the product lead, and very excited to have this live stream. It's been a little bit, but we have a lot to show today, so I'm very excited to get to talk about what you've done in the past months and what we are going to do next for the near future. So very excited.
Awesome.
I hope you're going to enjoy.
Yes, I think they will. We have a lot of cool stuff to talk about. Alrighty. Very quickly, just to go over what we'll cover and kind of the format, Davide will walk us through several new features that have been released in StreamYard in the past few months, including a very exciting overview of the new scenes feature that I think many people I see in the comments are excited to learn how to use for their own live streams. And actually, it's been cool because we've used the scenes to set up this live stream. It's all a bit meta. Then we want to tell you a little bit about the Reliability Squad. It's something that we announced recently in the community, and it's a team that we think has a lot of impact that they can bring to StreamYard and to you. And then we'll quickly talk about what's next, some features that we're working on, and also hear from you about what are the features that you would like to see. And we'll be taking questions throughout. For the demos, we'll try and pause throughout so that we can answer topical questions as Davide is going over them. And then we'll also save some time at the end for more general Q&A. So please send your questions. I'll try to keep track of all of them and get through all of them. So without further ado, very quickly wanted to kick off with an icebreaker since we're all getting to know each other. Today, I'm asking Davide, what is an upcoming trip that he's looking forward to? And I'd love to hear your answers in the chat as well.
Nice. So I'll just talk about the next one, so which is Paris. I'm going there with my girlfriend in April. So I'm actually really excited about it. It's not that far from Italy, but it has always its own charm, and there's a lot of things that we want to see together. And I'm especially excited about the food. I'm a foodie myself, so that's a big part of my motivation to travel a lot of time. So that's it.
You're a foodie and a romantic. April in Paris sounds very, very nice.
Most importantly, foodie. Yeah.
Love it.
What about you, Rebecca?
I'm really looking forward to a trip that I'm starting on Friday, which I'm mentally prepared for, but not actually prepared for, which is to Japan. And I actually think I see someone from the audience that's tuning in from Japan. And this is like one of my, bucket list trips. So I am super hyped. But there's a lot that I still need to finish here at work and packing. So I'm really looking forward to it. But I could use an extra few days. Great.
I think if you feel prepared before a trip, it's probably not.
Yeah, exactly. Are you really even going on a trip if you feel prepared? Cool. All right. Let's move into the juicy stuff. Let's talk about new features.
Yes, and there have been a few since last time we spoke with everybody. So I think we can introduce them all now, and then we're going to demo them all together. So there are going to be 5 features that we are going to talk about today, and we are going to talk about some improvements that we launched towards the end of the year to the branding tab, and specifically how we split it into 2 different tabs that made probably your life a bit easier, a bit clearer, and we'll get into that in a second. Some new custom fonts that are available for the advanced plan and above. So now you have access to a library of fonts that you can use to customize your name tags, comments, the way banners work, and all of these things. We think it's a nice touch to let you play and express yourself and your style as much as you want in your live streams. Then just in the last few weeks, we've added image sharing. So the ability to share images similarly to what you could do with videos, PDFs, slides. Now we can also share images as media, and we'll show you how in a moment. And then let's get into some more, let's say, complex stuff that we have launched recently, some more exciting stuff maybe. So the first one is AI Clips 2.0. So AI Clips were already present in StreamYard. It was a beta feature, and we knew it had a lot of potential to let you guys repurpose your content for shorts, reels, and TikTok. So we worked on that, and we'll show you the results. And you can already use them for your current streams. And finally, scenes, our latest feature. It's something that we have been working on a lot in the past few months. And I'll demo how to use them so that you can get the maximum out of this very cool feature for your live stream. So that's that's the plan for today, and I think we'll get into the showcase.
Great, let's do it. And please send your questions as they come up. We'll try and answer them as we go.
All right, I think let's go. I think we can. I'm now sharing another studio, so we're going to turn off our cameras in this studio to avoid you seeing us, so many times at once. You should still hear us fine. Let us know if there are any issues, but there shouldn't be any. So we are now in another studio, and I'm going to show you the features that I've talked about one by one. So the first one is a split of the brand tab. So a while ago, there used to be just one brand tab where you would have all of these style elements as well as your media elements. So what you now have under the media assets, such as the logo, the overlay, video clips, and everything, wouldn't be here in this tab, So now you actually have these tabs split, and it's a bit easier to navigate your media because you have them at the top of the tab, and your style as well, which maybe you need to set once in a while when you create a new brand, when you customize your style, and you don't need to maybe have as frequently, and you don't need to use as frequently as your media assets, which is why we have separated them this way. So this is the first thing that we wanted to showcase. And since we're talking about brand and style, I'm going to just jump into the next feature, which is the custom fonts. And as you can see here, there's a list of fonts that is available to you guys. And it's very varied, so you can find whatever fancy your whatever you fancy. Let's go with why not this one? And as you can see, my name tag has changed in its own style. And if I was to also showcase a banner here, you would see it with the new font. So you can play around, find something that fits your brand, your personal brand, and play with that. So these are the first two features we wanted to showcase and talk about today. Now I'm going to actually showcase image sharing, which is the third feature that we want to talk about. So image sharing works exactly as every other media sharing. So you just tap on present, you tap on image file, and you pick from your laptop whatever you want to share here. Of course, as every other media sharing feature, is not available on mobile, but just on laptop. And here I've already added one image to the studio, the same cover that we use for the thumbnail of the live stream. And then you simply add it to your broadcast. And here it is, right? It's the same as any other media. You can play with the layouts and, just show it the way you want. And that's going to look pretty nice on your streams. So yeah, now you don't need to find any other workarounds, and you can use images in your live stream in a very seamless way. So that's it for the first three features.
Yeah, I wanted to quickly pause for questions before we get into the more complicated one. Not a lot. One that I think could be helpful is about the fonts, which is, does it work for on-air webinars as well?
Yeah, there shouldn't be any issue with that. All the studios should be covered from custom fonts. Yeah, so no problem with that.
Great. And then this is actually more of a request, suggestion, feedback, which I think is nice, about kind of the layout and splitting the comments and the brand kind of tabs for the space. I'm curious if you have some thoughts about it.
So Michael, you're asking, okay, the ability to have comments on the left and brand on the right, or whatever you want. Okay. Are you talking about different tabs that you would like, Michael, or having them appear on stage in different places? Because I think that's both are potentially nice and interesting features. Actually, don't know if you.
We'll give Michael a chance to answer. In the meantime, I think let's do this. Like, why? Maybe it's helpful to explain. The difference here.
Yeah, sure. No, that's a good question, Leo. Nice to have you here, by the way. So the difference is that when you use image sharing, you can actually play with layouts and change layouts in a very dynamic way compared to sharing an overlay. Now here in this brand, I don't think I have the same image. So let me play 1 second with this. If I go here, yeah, I don't have it here in this brand, but like I can showcase what I mean. So here I have this image, and now I can play. I can change layout in 1 second, and that's adjusted. I can add Rebecca to the screen. If I added this image as an overlay, it would appear full screen, and that's it. So I wouldn't be able to treat it as any other media share and leverage all the power of layouts as you can now. So I would say that's the main benefit, right? So whenever you have something that doesn't have a fixed positioning and that you want to interact with, because maybe it's a piece of media or whatever, that allows you to do it very, very nicely. I hope that answers your question.
I said thank you. Makes
no worries. Sense. Welcome.
Awesome. Okay. I think those are all the questions we had for these features. So let's keep going and we'll tackle more.
Going. Yes. So the next one is AI clips, and I'm going to show you another tab from the same account. So these beautiful faces are Rebecca and I from our last live streaming in November. So here is the recording page for that live stream. And as you can see, it's a standard live stream in a landscape version. It's about 1 hour long, and I think this can represent something that's similar to what many of you guys live stream yourself, and the kind of recording that you probably have for your podcasts, your lives, and everything. Now, what you may want to do is to repurpose this content in a short format for shorts or for TikTok or Instagram, right? And these shorts need to be portrait format, so vertical, and they generally have captions, and they need to be engaging and be about the most interesting parts of your videos. So I've generated now, and you'll have a very simple button to do so. When you haven't, I've generated AI clips for this video. And as you can see, out of the 1 hour video, I got about 10 clips, which are like 30 to 1 minute and a half long. So you can post them to most platforms. And I'm going to show you how they look, right? Because we mentioned we wanted something in portrait, where the speakers are shown with captions and that are about interesting moments. And maybe you don't remember the content from last time, but as you can see, the titles are pretty nice, right? We are talking about roadmap, revolutionizing broadcast with some features like intro and outro videos, and discovering new exciting features on our platform. And I'm going to show you this clip specifically. The audio is off just so that there isn't too many people speaking at once. But as you can see, it turned the landscape video into a portrait version. So this is the format that you would expect on shorts, on reels. And there's Rebecca and I, and you can see the speakers. As speakers change, the layout will change also dynamically, which is pretty nice. There are still some improvements that we will do in the future so that we can try to not cut the name tags, for example. But you can see that the captions are pretty accurate, and that's all available to you guys. What you can do then with the clips is download them or publish them if they are short enough directly. And yeah, that's what you can expect from this feature. For 1 hour video, just for reference, when I generated this clip, it took some minutes to generate, not too long, and without any effort, I had 10 clips that I can post for my live stream. So that's basically it about the feature. We are pretty excited, and we are going to keep working on this. So we are already asking for feedback. Feel free to share feedback about the feature, what you would like to see improved about it, and we are going to work on it in the near future.
Great. Just a reminder to send questions. I just have one about AI recordings for now, which is just about how to find kind of the UI of how to actually activate this feature.
Let me see. Okay, I'm just going to take a random clip. Please don't judge whatever you'll see. It's probably just me testing StreamYard. But yeah, that's what you are going to see in the UI. So just a generate button. Here it says unavailable simply because it's a 9-second test, which I think the clips require a few seconds more to be generated, which makes sense. There's no clip to generate from 9 seconds, but this is the UI that you would see in general.
Great. I think that's super clear. And no other questions on AI clips. Let's get into the most exciting one, which is scenes.
Okay, scenes. So we are back in the studio, and we are going to look into scenes. So I have a couple of brands here, and I'm going to move back and forth between them because in this one I have some scenes already prepared. While here I'm going to show you the fresh experience when you start using scenes, how to create some, and the first steps that you can move, right? So I'm going to let's start. Let's open the scenes panel, which is here on the left. So if you don't want to use scenes, you don't have to. You can keep using StreamYard as usual. But if you want to use scenes and the things they allow you to do, here they are, right? So you can open them, and you see here the list of scenes, and these are just the 2 reference scenes that we create for every new account. So let's start from the basics. What is a scene? A scene is basically a snapshot of whatever you have on stage that is saved to the stage, and that you can call back anytime you select the scene again, right? So the idea is you prepare what you want to show, and then you select on the scene, and everything will be shown at once. So I'm going to show you how it works, and I'm just going to create a new scene. And here they come preloaded with some layouts that will facilitate your experience, but they're not binding. So it's just a starting point. And I'm just going to click on speaker view. So maybe this is a scene where I want to be talking and announce some things. So let's show it on stage. And as you can see, there is my initial here that's reminding me that I'm assigned to this scene. So I'm going to be back on stage if I get back here. I could add Rebecca on stage, and she would also be assigned now. And if I remove myself, now she's assigned and I'm not. And I can go back and forth between this scene and this scene. And I'm just switching speakers in one tap instead of having to do it in two taps, where I would need to add myself and then remove Rebecca. So that's already one little thing that you can do with scenes, switching between speakers in this way. Then I'm going to add a little bit of content. I'm going to keep Rebecca on stage for a little while, keep her in the spot. So let's say that I want to showcase an overlay, because that's something that we are talking about, and maybe a banner as well, right? Maybe rather than this one, let's make it into a ticker. Okay, I think it's nicer. So I'm going to show the ticker, and I want the overlay as well, right? So I know that at some point of the stage, Rebecca will be discussing whatever is the topic of the banner and with this overlay. So I can prepare this, and maybe I'm making her an intro in this scene. I'm going to say, hey, Rebecca is going to talk about this. And then I can bring everything on stage in one tap like that. Okay. So that's the first thing that you can do with scenes, right? You can save banners, you can save overlays, and you can save people and media to specific scenes. We mentioned media. Let's look at how that works. So here we are going to select another scene where we have a media slot already in the preview. And as you can see, the layout is telling us, okay, you have to add a media here to get the most out of it. So I'm going to add myself to stage as well. And you see that the preview is updated accordingly. And let's do something that we are doing in the live. So let's add this deck of slides from November. This is the old one to the stage, right? So we have these decks ready. So let's go back to our potential flow for a live stream. There could be me making the intro. I'm done with the intro. Then I introduce Rebecca, and she has everything that she needs to make her announcement. And then we move on to discussing the main topic of the show, which may be specific topic of the set of slides, right? And I've done all these things just with 3 clicks, switching from one to the next and so on. So for me, at least, it's very helpful because it takes the burden of making all these moves during the live stream. I can prepare everything beforehand and then just go on and focus on the content, on the interaction with users. And that's really, really helpful, I find, when you're working on your live stream. Now, there is something more that you can do with scenes, and we're going to show it. So here we have this scene where we have this media, but maybe you want to already have a different layout, right? And normally, whenever you add or remove a media on stage, it always starts with the same layout. But maybe I actually want to immediately switch to, let's say, this layout, okay? Normally, I would either have to first select the layout and then the media, or vice versa, which isn't maybe ideal. Now, with scenes, I can, switch from a scene where it's just myself to this specific layout with both me and Rebecca and the slides on stage, right? So that's pretty neat, I find, and saves a lot of click and some animations, these transitions between different layout that you would have otherwise. And that's pretty nice. And I find that this gets even nicer with the custom layouts, because now instead of this scene, I'm going to duplicate it for simplicity. I'm going to select the new scene, and I can now select a custom layout that I've created, right? Because maybe this is something that fits my style a bit more. And now in one tap, I can switch from a very standard view to a custom layout with the slides, Rebecca, and myself directly on stage. I find that this makes the production much more professional and impressive as you go through your shows. Now, I mentioned that I have a couple of different brands. I'm going to switch to another brand where I have a set of scenes ready to wrap it up and actually show you the thing that I find the most impressive about scenes so far. So I think this is very similar to what we have seen so far. So I have an overlay and a ticker already saved to scenes. You can switch to group assignments. You can switch to media in one tap. Here I have a different media already assigned and just myself, and I can do that again in one tap instead of having to remove Rebecca, remove the media, and add the new media, and then switch layout as well. It's just all in one tap. Here we have talked about custom layouts, and now I'm going to show you something that you may want to do in your live streams as well, right? So I have this custom layout that I have created, and we have already seen how easy it is to bring everybody on stage in one tap. Now, what you may want to do if you feel extra fancy is make this layout a bit nicer, right? So maybe you want to have some borders around the cameras and around the scene, and you also want to have some fancy name tags, which are custom because they fit your style better. What I've done here is I have created this background with a frame, and I'm going to show it on stage. And that's going to be added and frame the media in a fairly nice way. Don't judge the style of the assets. I've done them very quickly on Canva, so it's nothing too crazy. And then I also want to have the borders and the name tags, right? And I've prepared an overlay that fits this custom layout, and I'm going to show them here. Now, this isn't super easy to do in a live stream. You have to first select the people on stage, then select the custom layout, then select the background, and then select the overlay. It's a lot of steps. It's too much. However, now that I have the scene ready, the number of steps becomes 1, right? I can immediately bring everything on stage in one step, and that allows you to basically whatever you want with your production. You can put things wherever you want, achieve some nice effects, just with a bit of preparation. So here is the same version that I had prepared before, but that's it. So that's the main demo about scenes. A couple of specifications that are important to know. Scenes are only available on laptop and on landscape version, so you don't have them on mobile and portrait yet, at least. And some things that are not saved to scenes are logos. That's because generally the logo is something that you want for your whole stream. That's what we found from our usability testing. So the logo will be on and off and will be applied to every scene at once. And music as well. Generally, if you have background music, you probably want it to stick around in the studio, and you can still play it and remove it as normal. One last thing that is important is that when you get out of a studio, the assignments in terms of cameras and media will be removed. So if you want to prepare everything with your guests, just tune in a few minutes earlier and create the scenes that you need, make the assignments that you need for every scene. What will be saved, though, is the banners and overlays that will be shown to the scenes. So those are permanent, while the cameras and the assets are not. That we are planning to actually allow you to prepare in advance and in the future, but we haven't yet. So yeah, enjoy these first features, and we are probably going to work on more for scenes.
Great demo. I see a lot of people in the comments really excited about this new feature and kind of visualizing it better now that we've done the walkthrough and seeing how they can apply it to their own streams. So I think that was great. Not a lot of questions, so I guess you did a really nice job. I will go through the few that I have here. This is a question, but also possibly a suggestion for an improvement, asking specifically about hotkeys for quick switching. I don't know if that's something that's already you're already considering.
Hotkeys, yes, it's actually something we discussed pretty recently. It's something that we're planning to do. Simply, we haven't gotten to it yet. Our backlog is pretty full, Chris. But I think it's a great point, especially if we add these type of functionalities where, with a hotkey you could bring up your scene and switch between them. So we will be working on that probably quite soon. Thanks for the suggestion.
Great. Another question here is, do the scenes save for future broadcasts?
Great question as well. So as I mentioned, like scenes are generally saved to your brand, right? So the list of scenes will be saved to your brand. Here I can switch back to the other brand, and as you see, I have a different set of scenes. So you can also create different set of scenes for different shows if that's what you want. And these are saved to your brand. And what will stick to the scenes is, for example, here the overlay and the banner will stick to the scene and they will be saved for any future broadcast, while the fact that I'm brought on stage automatically will not be saved for future broadcasts. As I mentioned, it's something that is on our radar, but we wanted to first start with the core of the feature and give it to you as soon as possible. So scenes will be there. You'll just need to add to the stage whatever you want right before the broadcast, basically, so that you don't have to get out of the studio in the meanwhile.
Great. And then another hope from the audience is to add some transitions and kind of more effects to scenes, if that's something that you're considering.
I'm not familiar with what stingers are, so maybe you can clarify that. But for transitions are something that we are looking into. For sure, the first step was to create scenes that can be transitioned between. But yeah, it's something that we are looking into. I think for scenes we have very ambitious plans, but we first wanted to get the feature out and have you guys enjoy it.
Great. There's one question that I think is maybe confusing, so maybe we should address this.
Go back to the main studio and work from that, because like right now you see myself on stage here, but I'm muted. I'm not actually transmitting any audio from here, so we are in another studio actually. So
yeah,
I think we can break the
studio,
action.
studio inception going on.
Yeah, I think we can start our cameras back here, and that's going to be all right.
Okay, that's more clear.
And
then the last question I see. Okay, sorry. Stingers are dynamic transitions that include audio or animated transitions.
Okay, yeah. I think that's something that we're going to look into as an evolution of scenes for sure. So there's quite a bit that we can do, and transitions are definitely on our radar. Thanks for the suggestion.
And then the last question I see, and then we got a few late runs about AI clips that I want to cover as well. Is more about like the mic, and if I guess audio is something that you bring on stage, into the scene and on stage as well.
I think that as long as the guest microphone is hot, then it's going to to be out on when you select the scene as well. So yeah, that's on by default. It isn't a specific layout that enables that.
Great. Okay. Very quickly jumping to a few about AI clips that some people sent. Give me a second. I'll just find them. Okay, this one about AI clips for solo recordings, and if it works the same, if there's anything different in how it.
So
creates the clips.
The challenge with AI clips for us was to find a solution that would work for a lot of different stage setups. So when you are alone, when you have 2 people, when you have 5 people, right? And so with AI, we wanted to identify the speakers and the other people involved and bring them on screen in a portrait version. So that was a challenge. And we were able to do that pretty well in the end. So even if you're solo, you're going to be the only person on screen, basically full screen in a portrait version of your broadcast, even if you record it in landscape. So I think you can give it a try, see how it works, and share your feedback if you have any.
Great. And this one is about retroactively applying clips to post recordings.
You should already be able to use them on past recordings. The only thing that unfortunately you won't be able to do, at least for the moment, is to regenerate AI clips once you have generated them a first time. And that also includes old AI clips. But if you have some recordings that have not been, where you have not generated any clips yet, you should be able to do that without any issue.
Great. All right. I think those were all the questions we had for those last 2 features. Let's keep going so we have a bit of time to talk about the reliability squad, which I think will also be very interesting to people. And then if more questions come in, we will tackle them towards the end of this segment. All righty. So, yes. Reliability squad, tell us about it.
Yes. So it's actually not a new squad. I think we announced it recently on our channels, but it's not something new. It's a squad of engineers and quality assurance managers that are working tirelessly, I would say, to grant you the best experience we can. As you can imagine, live streaming is a pretty complicated business with a lot of things that need to happen at the same time and need to be in sync. And there are a lot of different interactions between devices, laptop, browsers, social media, and us. So the role of the reliability squad is to do the best we can so that the experience is seamless and reliable all the time, right? And basically, how are we approaching this? Our approach is to tackle these challenges and issues at scale. So we try to identify the root causes that may break a stream, that may cause some problems. And this is a bit different from maybe going for like fixing and patching every single problem, without looking at the root cause. What we try to do is we look at the root cause and try to fix it so that this problem doesn't happen again. This doesn't mean that we don't address individual issues at all. Actually, it's quite the opposite. But when we do, we actually try not to just solve the single issue, but to put together a fix that will also prevent the issue from ever happening in the future, and maybe prevent some other issues that haven't occurred yet to manifesting at all. So that's the objective, and I think they are doing a pretty impressive work. The process is straightforward, but it's not easy. So it's gathering feedback on product performance, and that happens through customer support that filters all your inputs. It happens through surveys and user research that we do, as well as internal feedback, since we test the product a lot, and that highlights what is important to work on, what may create problems in the future if we don't improve upon it. And then we look into what has the largest impact on you guys, what could cause a lot of trouble, and we prioritize those things first, and then we go and fix things, right? And this is, as I mentioned, both addressing individual bugs and working preemptively so that these bugs never occur at all. And you probably see the bugs that happen, but unfortunately, you don't see the bugs that don't happen, or maybe fortunately, you don't. But
yes, unfortunately,
that's the job of the main job of the reliability squad is what you don't see, I would say, rather than what you see sometimes when you experience a bug.
Yeah, They're kind of the unsung heroes. The product people get all the credit. They make all these like shiny, nice things. Everyone loves them for it, and then reliability squad is there, like tackling things. I think it'd be helpful maybe to also go through just a few projects, just to give some light to their work, of some recent things that they've worked on.
Yeah, absolutely. So there has been some we have a pretty good collaboration with YouTube, and we work together quite frequently to identify and fix things, as well as to develop new features. And what we've done specifically with the Reliability Squad was identifying some issues and fixing a bug that was affecting streaming. So that's something that we've done quite recently. We've also implemented a new alert system so that whenever there are specific issues, we are able to find out about them and tackle them as fast as possible. We are also looking into audio, and I've already made some good progress in making audio more stable and better performing in most streams. It's not the end of the journey, probably, but it's definitely a step forward when it comes to audio issues, and we're quite proud of that. And generally, whenever there is an important issue, they jump in and try to fix it so that we can find a solution as fast as possible, and you don't have to wait a long time before things are back to normal and back to strong performance again.
Great. I think that's a super helpful overview. Let's go quickly to a very exciting part of the conversation, which is what's happening next, because we covered a lot of great stuff, and there's a lot more to come. I don't see any questions on this, so send them if you got them, but I want to make sure we get to the nice stuff. So Davide, what is next?
What's next? So we have done quite a bit in the past months, but we don't plan on stopping at all. So of course, we'll keep working on reliability and more initiatives. And we'll also, I think, try and do a better job at communicating what we do, reliability side, because as I mentioned, very often is what you don't see that is really the work of the Reliability Squad. And we're also working on the new user experience. I assume that many of you are already experienced StreamYard users, but we always have an eye on the new guys, the people that are starting to live stream. I think everybody was a new guy at some point, and making StreamYard easy to understand and the new experience easy to learn and getting started very fast. It's something that we want to do, right? Live streaming is dreading enough by itself without the complexity of a very difficult tool. So that's what we are working on. And to do that, we are trying to streamline the funnel and streamline the experience. And this should also result in quite a bit of improvement for the general UX. And I'm getting maybe through the second point. So we are looking into different components of StreamYard, and we are thinking hard about how we can make them easier to use and more functional for everybody. And there are different components on our radar. And different processes, such as the process for creating a broadcast, the way that some parts of the dashboard or the library are organized. And we are going to be very careful in making the experience better for our users and not worse. So don't worry about that. And we really believe that we can make StreamYard a really seamless and effective product at that. So we are going to invest a lot in that. Then we will be working on mobile. So we believe that StreamYard has a lot of untapped potential for our mobile users, and we believe that we are not offering an experience that is on par with the laptop experience. So we are going to work on that and improve the experience, improve the functionalities on mobile in the near futures. You've probably already seen, you may already be seeing some improvements, and we'll tell you more in the next updates. Finally, something that we are fairly excited about for the near future is chat overlay. I guess that you probably enjoy interacting with your viewers, And one important way to do that is to show their comments on screen and have them present. So we are working to bring chat overlay to you guys. And the challenge here is to make it interact seamlessly with every other element on StreamYard. So with media sharing, overlays, banners, comments, cameras, and everything else. So yeah, I think that's going to be very, very fun and very interesting to have. And we plan to work on that quite soon in the near future.
Yeah, I think you're gonna make at least a handful of people in these comments happy, because I saw some people talking about chat overlay already and how they'd like to see that. So that should be very exciting. And then I guess the last thing of what we're working next is kind of an open question, if you want to ask it to the group.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys want to share what should be our priority for the future, I mean, we are always listening to your inputs, and we are happy to get your suggestions.
Yeah, I mean, even before this call to action, there's a lot of good ideas already in the chat. Some that we put out, some that we showcased related to features we were talking about, but a lot of other ideas. Just know I'm bookmarking them all, so we'll save them, and it's very important for us to hear about what the community wants to see. It's a great way for us to make sure we're kind of following the North Star of what StreamYard can be. So keep them coming. And also in YouTube community, Facebook community, we're always checking and keeping an eye on what people are talking about. So those are also great places to share this kind of feedback. All right, we are 2 minutes over, but I think we can still take a few extra minutes to get to some questions that we haven't already covered.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay. Let me look through everything I've so some of these are kind of feature requests and questions that maybe we can tackle a few here. One is about polls and quizzes.
Thanks, Jeremy, I guess. So in general, that's something that we are looking into to bring to StreamYard in general. So if we do, that will also come into on-air webinars. It's not something that we are actively working on yet, but it's on our radar. So if you want to share also your use case for that, we can definitely use the information to better prioritize this initiative.
Wonderful. Another question, I think this ties into what you were saying about the mobile experience, but there seems to be a bit of confusion about like the mobile experience, the app, and like how we're thinking about these things. So maybe it's worth clarifying a bit what we're talking about.
Yeah. I don't know, honestly. I can't answer directly when we are going to implement a user-friendly app. Maybe I can give a bit of insight into the challenges. So an app tendentially means that you have to almost rebuild the product from scratch in a different context, a different environment. It is not a trivial effort. So as I mentioned, we are now looking into the mobile experience, and we are trying to understand what are the main pitfalls of the mobile experience. If we will realize that making an app is the best solution in terms of effort and return on that effort, it's something that we'll definitely consider. But at the moment, I can't give you a timeline for that. I don't want to give false hopes or empty promises. Definitely.
I think that's fair. All right. Another question. This one's, I guess, a bit more technical. When I'm streaming to YouTube as a destination, is StreamYard handling the streaming quality or YouTube? If you know the answer to this, Davide.
It's probably a combination of both. That's a bit technical, so I will take my answer with a pinch of salt. But I think that there's an interaction on both ends. So you may experience different quality handling on both on the StreamYard side and on the YouTube side. So what we do on the StreamYard side is we try our best, given the performance of your device, given the constraints of the browser, given the constraints of the connection, to match the resolution that you select. So that's what we do, basically. And most times we manage to do that. So we match that resolution, and that's the output that we send to YouTube or the other destination. Then, of course, if the viewer has any connection issues on their side, they may experience some degradation of quality for the stream as well. That's probably not the full complete answer, but it's, I think, a pretty good high-level picture of what happens there. So in general, it's a combination of both.
Great. Okay, I think those were all of the questions that I saw that I think are interesting for everyone to hear more about. So with that said, I think we can wrap it up here. Davide, I don't know if you want to say anything, closing remarks. This is your moment.
Maybe I just want to thank everybody who joined today and who's going to watch the video later on, for the support that you're giving to us, to the team in general, that's working really, really hard to make this product the best it can be. And we really appreciate the dedication that you show to StreamYard, the passion. It also motivates us a lot to do our best job and our best work for you guys. So that's an inspiration for us, and keep enjoying the product, enjoying live streaming. Share your feedback and engage with us. Challenge us, challenge what we do. We are actually open to that, and we're happy to discuss with you. So we are looking forward to our interactions on YouTube, on Facebook, and our next touch points. Thanks a lot for everything.
I second everything he said, and thank you for being a great community in the comments today. A lot of great engagement. We really appreciate it. All right. Thank you all. Have a great evening
you,
for us. Day for wherever you are. Bye.
Bye-bye.